Hey guys, welcome back. So today I am showing you how I make my husband's bread, cinnamon raisin swirl bread. I try to make this so that it's like a couple of loaves at a time. So the recipe I'm showing you makes 2 loaves. Because honestly, this bread is actually like very time consuming and it takes a bit. So I already delinted myself. I have my coffee, which I am probably not going to finish because I know I shouldn't. Okay, I already took the liberty of putting everything together. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm putting in this bowl as we go. I will show you. So you need 440 grams of warm water. You 100% need a scale for this. Then you're going to add in your 180 grams of warm milk. I already pre-measured these, so I'm not going to reset the scale. And my sink is full of soapy water, so I'm just chucking it in there. Actually, I could probably take the scale away now because I already pre-measured everything. I'm going to add in 260 grams of butter. Melted butter. 260 grams. So that's almost a full brick of butter. I use salted butter. If you're not using salted butter, then I highly recommend you add extra salt when I go to add it. And then you need, I do 5 teaspoons of yeast, but the recipe calls for 4.5. I do 5 because then I know I'm guaranteed that it's going to fluff out. 130 grams of sugar. I actually pushed it down to 120 grams of sugar because 130, like I'm just slowly kind of trying to push it down a bit. Mix it together. Now this recipe, you don't need a stand mixer necessarily, but if you have one, use it. Let that sit for a minute just because it's nice and warm, right? So, like I said, this recipe is going to make 2 900-gram loaves. I'll show you my bread pans. I got these on Amazon. They are Chicago metallic. I got 4 of them because I make bread so much. I think they're $10, maybe $20 each Canadian, so just wait for that to kind of settle a bit. And if you're doing it the way I do it, you're not going to see it like bubble or anything. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. Like I said, this is the way I do it, so. Okay, now you need 28 grams of salt. If you're using unsalted butter, I would add just a touch more. Now, you need 1,050 grams of flour. I'm using bread flour this time, but I usually use all-purpose. Sift your flour, please. Sift it. Even if you take like a colander. There we go. Couldn't think of that. So I'm going to add in... I'll put everything down in the description box too. Then You let it go. Okay. This is literally the only bread that my husband will eat. If I make him something with white bread, he'll eat it. And if I make sourdough, he'll eat it. But this is his favorite bread. Okay. This stuff is going to be very sticky. Expect it. Making sure you can see it. This stuff is very like gooey. It doesn't feel like your normal dough. So I keep a separate thing of flour aside, and then if I don't use it all, unfortunately I have to throw it out because I'm not about to stick my flour cup back into my flour bin that has fresh flour and then dipped fingers in. Honestly, if it feels good, you don't have to knead it too much. You're gonna have to knead it once more. So we're gonna knead this. We're gonna let it sit for 40 minutes. It's gonna rise, and you're gonna knead it again. Let it sit for another 30 minutes. And then that's when it starts to get a little bit complicated. Just remember, the more you knead it, the more not only flavorful it is, but easier to work with the dough. Now, most people put like oil in the bottom of their bowls when they're letting their dough rise. I do not. I'll have to do that. If you prefer to put oil on the bottom, put oil on the bottom. Okay. Of course. Well, this will fit. I have bowl covers. If you do not, just put a towel over top. Set it aside where it's warmest. It's not really warm in my house today because it's minus 20 degrees Celsius outside, so, you know. Okay, you guys, it has been about an hour and a half. So, got the dough all ready. I prepared everything on the side. That way you don't have to watch me go through all that crap. So this is where you take your dough out. And you're going to cut it in half because it's going to be 2 loaves, obviously. Okay. You can just put the other one back in the bowl for now, whatever works for you. Flour your surface. Okay, now you are going to roll the dough out. Now you need 1 egg with some water in it, just a little bit, like maybe a tablespoon. Mix it all together, and you're going to brush it on to the dough. If you are allergic to egg yolks or egg whites, just use the opposite, as this is the only part of the recipe that has eggs, obviously. So if you can't use egg, you might be able to get away with just using like some water or something, but I've never tried it, so I can't tell you, to be honest. You need a mixture of brown sugar and cinnamon, whatever you feel is the right amount of either. And you sprinkle it on it. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Just make sure you don't take too much out because you're using it between 2 loaves, right? So this is actually the recipe I know off by heart compared to my white bread, and my white bread is easier. I make this so much for Cody that it's like I just know it so well. Okay, so I have some left for the other loaf. And grab your raisins. I don't like raisins, but I actually love this bread. So if you're a person that does not like raisins, you still might actually really like this bread. You don't really taste the raisins. Make sure before you start this part, you have your bread pans buttered and ready to go. I use butter. I do not use oil. Okay, so now you're going to roll it. Okay, so I bend in the ends. You probably don't have to, but I choose to. It's up to you. Get your bread pan close by. Move this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Now you're going to cut it in half. You're going to take it and you're just going to twisty twist. See, now if you put too much liquid in it, this is when it gets like really just complicated. So you're going to twist it. Grab your bread pan. Try not to get flour all over the bottom. Stick it in there. Just like that. Okay, I'll put this on the other side. So now we got this ready to go. We are going to put a clean towel over top of it and let it rise. Okay, it's been about 40 minutes. So let us put the bread in the oven. Yes, I know I'm weird. Okay, so my oven is dirty. Okay, are you gonna stay there? You might stay there. Okay, you might stay there. If you fall, I'm sorry. So, like I said, my oven is dirty. I can only use certain things on my oven because it is porcelain, so I have to be careful with what I do. I'm not about to clean it anytime soon because yeah. I am putting tin foil on this. And I am putting my bread loaves there. I am setting my oven to 350 Fahrenheit because tinfoil is not cheap. Just gonna do this. I don't feel like wasting a giant sheet of tinfoil for 2 loaves of bread. Said if you do this, you save your oven from getting so filthy. And then I'll just put my loaves, one here, one there, that kind of thing. Okay, so you get the point down there. Now, so this one, I'm reusing it. It looks like that because I used it originally for cinnamon raisin bread the last time I used it. And this is what I mean when I say I puff it up as soon as I can do it. Now this bread is usually only eaten by Cody and I. Okay, that one should be okay there. So because this tinfoil is used a bit still, it's kind of hard to shape. There is still a little bit of lift to it though. That way when the bread rises, it's not going to suffocate it completely. Okay. My oven is not preheated. I recommend you preheat your oven. I never preheat my oven. I will show you what I did. See? So, then, yeah. Okay, so that is going to bake for about an hour, maybe just a touch longer. And once it's done, I will take it out and I will show you what it looks like. So I will see you when it's done. Okay, I just took them out of the oven. You guys ready to see this? Oh, so beautiful. Like, tell me that doesn't look good. Okay, so I usually leave them in the pan to cool a bit. There's still obviously anything that you take out of the oven or whatever like this is still gonna cook while it's sitting in it. So I'm gonna leave them in the pan for probably about half an hour or so to cool off. Then I'm going to take my cooling rack and take it out, and I'm going to take a butter knife and go around the edges and just kind of push up. That way it's getting the cinnamon stickiness off the bottom of the pan, and it helps take the bread out. I don't try to shake them out until I know for sure they're going to come out, because then you can just end up ripping your bread in half. So just wait until they're cooled off enough to actually take them out. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video. Ta-ta!